Hey guys, Gambling CS here with another knife review. This is of the Kershaw Needs Work, and a couple other things about it. Well, let's take a look at it. If you're wondering, this sheath is actually one that I made, and yes, I know it is a folder, but I was just kind of messing around. This also has to do with the place that I work at. They don't allow fixed blade knives, and kind of as a joke, I made a sheath for a folder. Anyway, I'll do a review on that later. Bump that out of the way. Now onto the actual knife. Okay. Now this knife is actually a really good EDC knife. It's pretty heavy duty, but this is what I normally carry. This is one of my EDC knives. It fits incredibly well. I do have kind of small hands, so when it is open, the curvature of the handle fits in incredibly well. And these circles that you see on the polyamide handle, these actually fit in right with my fingers whenever I do a saber grip, when I'm doing a lot of slashing cuts, like on the cardboard and rope and so on and so forth. Okay, so like I said, it has polyamide handles. It does have Torx bits in all of the screw holes. It has a lanyard hole, kind of a small one, barely big enough for some 550 paracord. If you really wanted to get some in there, I would start threading it with some dental floss and then pull the paracord through that way, versus actually trying to feed it in, because it might get stuck if you've melted off the tip a little too big. Now, it does not have a flow-through design. It does have polyamide spacer right here, right down the middle, excuse me. And it has steel liners. It is a liner lock. I also noticed it has some nice jimping. This is about as much jimping as I'd ever want in a knife, and this locks in your thumb incredibly well. Not only does the ergonomics of the handle itself slide right into that and just holds onto that grip, it holds on, trust me. Same design pattern on the other side with the Torx bits. It does have a liner lock, like I said before, about 1/16 inch thick, kind of a thin stuff, but it'll definitely hold it. Now, let's see. The overall length is 7 1/8 inch. It's a decent sized knife. It is a speed safe knife, so it is Kershaw's spring assisted system. Well, actually, that didn't get a good enough lock in. Flipper right here, which actually pulls into the guard. There we go. Nice clock and look in. It has no blade play whatsoever in any direction. Like I said before, great grip. The blade itself is 13C26 steel, which is really good. It's kind of a softer steel. I would rate it kind of in the middle, above the 440 A and B, but about on par with 440C is what I would say. It is flat ground. Now, because of how narrow this knife is, if you look at the profile, it's only about 3/32 inch thick, and it works out nicely, and then has this nice tapered swedge into the front. It is great for piercing because of this narrow tip, but also because of the narrow tip, like a lot of the other Kershaw knives, it is pretty brittle and it will snap off. This is something you have to watch out for. You can't pry with this knife whatsoever, or else you will basically break this blade. The tapering is very thin, so it works out into cutting really well, but if you try to pry something with the side of the blade, I guarantee you it's going to chip. Now, it does something that really attracted my interest into this blade. Was one of the reasons why I got it, is because it's kind of kind of pricked myself. It is reminiscent of the kiridashi, which is a Japanese utility knife. Basically, it was a wedge-shaped piece of metal that would come out with a flat end. So imagine, without all the curvature here, it would just be straight lines down from the handle to the tip of the blade. It would be a very shallow angle for a kiridashi, but it is still that angle. And the reason they had that is because they could do slashing cuts and piercing cuts, and it's just, it's basically bar stock cut with a blade. And it was just so simplistic and incredibly easy that it became the basic household knife, along with some of the tanto blades that they had, or the wakizashi, or any of those kinds of blades. It became a part of their lifestyle, and that's something I really like. If a knife works and the